Hello everyone, welcome to Topper IAS. As part of our daily series, today also we will discuss a particular topic important from mains. Okay, so particularly GS2. There you can club this topic, India's nuclear doctrine. Okay, so let's get started then. And prior to that, why did we pick up the issue? So in newspaper, you might have read, about Agni P missile being test fired. So related to and the same article, you might have come across nuclear triad and how nuclear triad gives credibility to the principle of no first use policy that we follow in our nuclear doctrine. So that's why we picked up this issue. Okay, so let's get started. So after conducting nuclear test at Pokhran in the year 1998, India declared itself as a state armed with nuclear weapons. So now it has nuclear weapons. So the question comes, right? Why nuclear weapons? You know the destruction that the nuclear weapons cause. You have examples of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, where atom bombs were dropped during the Second World War, and the destruction, loss of lives, property, not only within just a year. The effect continued even for decades. People facing issues of leukemia, cancer, and other health impacts as well. So when such negative significant impacts are there of nuclear weapons, why did India go for nuclear weapons? See, there is a reason why India goes for went for nuclear weapons. See, there was a prospect of having to confront nuclear armed China and Pakistan. See, India has border issues and other kind of issues likely prop up between India with its neighbors China and Pakistan. And if these countries possess nuclear weapons, but obvious, it is likely that India may be subjected to nuclear threats or coercion. A strength respects strength. Not if you are weak, then obviously you are going to get the threats or coercion in your foreign policies as well. So you face a security implications if these countries are having nuclear weapons and if you don't have. So keeping that in mind, India came out with armed itself with the nuclear weapons. So, and another main intention, India says we are developing nuclear weapons as a political weapon, not the war fighting weapon. So intention is not to fight, intention is to ensure peace. So that's why we see nuclear weapons as a political weapons. So political weapons, we mean they will be used as a means in uh, diplomacy, so that tense situations can be avoided. So that is why they are developed as a political weapons, not a war fighting weapons. Okay, then coming to next, India's nuclear doctrine. So what are the important principles or the things that we have under India's nuclear doctrine? So it can be summarized like this. So first one is with respect to building and maintaining a credible minimum deterrence. Okay, so meaning of this is we are going to build and maintain a sufficient amount of nuclear arsenals, nuclear weapons. So why are we building and maintaining? So that it acts as a deterrence. So it acts as a deterrence for other countries to use nuclear weapons or threats against India. So as a credible minimum deterrence we are building. Then we have a principle, a posture of no first use of nuclear weapons, meaning we are not going to use nuclear weapons first, in the sense unless the other country uses on us. So nuclear weapons will be used by India only in retaliation against a nuclear attack on Indian territory or Indian forces anywhere. So only when Indian territory or Indian forces face an attack, only then there will be a retaliation through nuclear weapons. Until that, we are not going to use it. So that's why no first use policy. Then nuclear retaliation to a first strike will be massive and designed to inflict unacceptable damage. Yes, we are not using the nuclear weapons on our side from first, but that doesn't mean we are weak. So if we are just morally restraining ourselves to not to use nuclear weapons first time. That doesn't mean if you strike we will not retaliate. If you strike for the first time, so the retaliation will be very massive and it will likely to inflict unacceptable damage. Then nuclear retaliatory attacks can only be authorized by the civilian political leadership through nuclear command authority. So the authority, so civilian leadership has been vested with the authority to authorize nuclear retaliatory attacks, not in military. Okay. Then other provisions significance is no non-use of nuclear weapons against non-nuclear weapon states. So we are not going to use nuclear weapons against those states which do not have nuclear weapons. However, in the event of major attack against India or Indian forces anywhere by biological or chemical weapons, okay, so these weapons can also be used against India or Indian forces, then India will retain the option of retaliating with nuclear weapons. Okay, so this is a part of it. Then a continuance of strict controls on export of nuclear and missile related materials and technologies, and participation in fissile material cutoff treaty negotiations, and continued observance on moratorium on nuclear test. Meaning, see, nuclear weapons threat to an global peace destruction that they cause. So we always call for non-proliferation of nuclear weapons. So India will maintain a strict control on export of nuclear and missile related materials, so that there is no proliferation or a spread of more nuclear weapons across the world, because that will only threaten the peace. So, okay, so that's why it will be participating in various fissile material cut-off treaty negotiation and all those things. Then continued commitment to the goal of nuclear weapons free world through global, verifiable, and non-discriminatory nuclear disarmament. So, as I said, nuclear weapons threat to a planet as a whole. So we should always be looking to disarm the planet with nuclear weapons. So reduce the nuclear weapons. So India is also committed to this principle, provided this nuclear disarmament is done through a global, verifiable, and non-discriminatory system. So meaning there is a non-proliferation treaty, okay, which aims for nuclear disarmament, but this treaty makes a discriminatory uh, differences between states. Like there are permanent five which are recognized as nuclear states, and the rest of the nations of the world are declared as non-nuclear states. Okay, so non-nuclear states will not develop nuclear weapons, whereas nuclear states will reduce their nuclear weapons over a period of time. But this is unlikely to result. Okay, so this is nothing but perpetuating the uh, difference between nations as nuclear weapons and non-nuclear weapons. Why will the nuclear weapons will disband their all the nuclear weapons, right? Because they are a strength, they will be used for strategic advantage and all those things. So that's why India says NPT is a discriminatory and India did not sign it. So India has a commitment for nuclear weapons free world, provided it is done through variable and non-discriminatory nuclear disarmament. So keeping in NPT on the background, this statement is made. Then other things with respect to here you have is nuclear command authority. So I said it also came late earlier while reading the provisions. So nuclear command authority comprises a political council and an executive council, and the political council is chaired by Prime Minister. So it is the sole body which can authorize the use of nuclear weapons. So authority lies with civilian leadership in the political council of nuclear command authority, which is headed by Prime Minister. So the executive council is chaired by national security advisor, and it provides inputs for decision making by the nuclear command authority and executes the directives given to it by the political council. So executive council is an advisory body to political council. Okay, then we have strategic forces command. These forces would be responsible for the administration of the nuclear forces and will be actually tasked with the firing of nuclear weapons. So remember strategic forces command as well. Okay, so this was with respect to nuclear doctrine. We will also see why there is a call for review and what did India gain by having no first use policy. Should India review this policy? So all this analysis we will see in our next upcoming video. Okay, that's it for today. You can also download the PDF of this document in the link that is shared below. and do download Topper IAS Institute app so that you get access to n number of these videos, which will help you in your preparation for the exams. Thank you.